Hey everyone, it's Dr. K. So the human body isn't like an automobile where we'll strip it apart and change out certain parts and then put it back together and put it in and all of a sudden it's functional again. The reality is, unless we're talking about surgery, those things don't happen. So what we have to do is we have to get complete clarity on our own movement habits. That way we can understand the root cause of any problems that are going on. And that really helps a person like you have the tools you need to get back to what's most important in your life. So the framework we're going to talk about today is based off of Kelly Starrett's work. If you haven't read Supple Leopard yet, get out there and get yourself a copy. It's a great book, great resource for all my patients and clients. But basically, if I'm game mapping a treatment plan for someone, as a clinician, I need to make a good plan for that person that's very specific for that person and their needs. So if somebody comes to see me with a brand new injury, like a twisted ankle or a tweaked shoulder or something like that, then it looks completely different than someone who has low back pain for over a decade or who's had back surgery. So either scenario, what I try to do is offer clarity on the situation, because if a person has clarity with me, then they understand, I understand their personal story. These people have constantly been burned by other providers. They've been given bad information, bad treatment plans. They've been scared the hell out of. They spend a lot of their time and waste a lot of energy and money on these things, and they've made no changes at all. And so what I offer is clarity for somebody to know why they're experiencing their symptoms, what we need to do to fix it, and basically give them more informed decision making on their part, so that they have a little bit more skin in the game. They understand what it is we're trying to accomplish together. So the more clarity you gain, the better it's going to be, because it's basically going to help you know that you're on the right track to reaching your goals. So I use this model to help explain how chronic injuries develop, and I want you to understand that when we're talking about chronic injuries, it's actually a continuum, right, of why that injury developed. So this is called the I3 model. It starts off with incomplete mechanics. So the incomplete mechanics could be mobility issues, whether it's the muscles or the joints, or it could be motor control issues. And that basically means it's your inability to move or your inability to control a movement. So you have incomplete mechanics in place, so you're not moving or you don't control your movement, right? And that typically leads to an incident. So an incident is a micro injury or a stressor on a tissue or a joint or whatever it might be. But you're going to do that enough times, and you repeat it over and over again, and it might be 100 incidents, it might be 1,000 times, it might be 10,000 times. But if you have enough incidents in place, basically an injury is going to occur. So incomplete mechanics lead to incidents, and as many as those need to occur eventually develop into injuries. This is usually where people come in my door. So what we want to do is not just address the injury itself, why they're coming in my door, but I'm trying to understand and give them clarity that we don't need to just address the symptoms. We need to go all the way back to the beginning and make sure we understand this, and that we're basically addressing the incomplete mechanics that led to this problem in the first place. Because if we miss out on the root cause of the problem, which is incomplete mechanics, you're only really going to kind of feel better a little bit, and then it's going to quiet down, and then all of a sudden it's going to come back again. So if you go to someone with a brand new injury and all they're doing is adjusting you or giving you some soft tissue work, that's going to make things feel better for a little while, but they're just working on the symptoms. They're going to take your money, they're going to waste your time, when what you really need to work on, this is important, but what you really need to work on is the incomplete mechanics that got you there in the first place. So in order to avoid these leading into these, we need to develop care plans, and we need to get people to understand why we're doing that, so that there's high compliance, right? That way we can kind of stop this process where it began in the first place. So I had this kindergarten teacher, and he literally threw out his back bending over, picking up his sandwich for lunch. So my question to you is there something wrong with the sandwich to where all of a sudden it weighed 1,000 pounds? No, absolutely not. But was there something wrong with the way he picked it up? And the way that he probably picked up his sandwich 1,000 different times, leading into certain instances where it kind of aggravated it until he came in to see me. So if you have a history of back issues, the chances are you've kind of been in that situation before, where you've moved inefficiently for a very long amount of time. Every couple of months, you end up hurting your back. And so what ends up happening is, you end up building up enough incidents until it became an injury. And once it becomes an injury, then you paid attention to it. So you stopped doing whatever it is that aggravated it in the first place. Pain levels came down, started to move a little bit better, sleep a little bit better, and the body was healing itself. But then you go right back to doing it all over again with incomplete mechanics that built up to incidences that led to another injury. So, you haven't really fixed the underlying cause by not addressing the incomplete mechanics. So this is what I'm really world class at. I help people move efficiently, I help them move effectively, so that once we get the symptoms down and everything's quite down, they don't have to come back, they don't have to keep seeing me. They're actually more resilient individuals, they're harder to break, and people really appreciate that. So let me know if you have any questions about this and shoot me an email. Stay strong, inspire others.